Secretary, are we going to be aware of those protocols? Because we know that with any agreement with a country such as Iran, the devil is in the details.
All I can say is that, well, first of all, I personally have not seen those documents.
Which is astounding, to be honest with you. That is absolutely astounding, that you have not seen the documents that about the requirement for verification.
All I can say is that the agreement requires their cooperation with the IAEA, and this is the standard practice of the IAEA, whose independence is very critical to all of us.
All right, folks. That's one aspect of this whole thing, the side agreements that the U.S. doesn't even know what's in them, and we don't know what's in them. But John Yoo is with us, a law professor at UC Berkeley. Of course, he was the former Assistant Attorney General at the U.S. DOJ and author of Point of Attack, Preventative War, International Law, and Global Welfare. Hello, John.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good. Great to talk to you. Boy, I got to tell you, I mean, you really laid it out in your piece at National Review, talking about this Iran deal, and really saying that Republicans have no one to blame but themselves, because this agreement, by passing the amendment that they passed to basically say, all right, we now will vote on this Iran deal, and then the president could veto it, and we need 2/3 to override the veto. By treating it as if it weren't a treaty, they've legitimized the way the president's going about this, have they not, with the Corker deal?
You're exactly right. Under the Constitution, you're not supposed to be able to make a treaty unless 2/3 of the Senate agrees to the agreement. And what happened is that the Republicans reversed the whole process. They turned the Constitution upside down. And they said, now we're going to pre-approve the deal before we even saw it. You know, this was a bill passed back in the spring. And we can vote to disapprove it, whatever that means. And then the president is able to veto that. So in the end, you can't stop a treaty here unless you've got 2/3 of the House and the Senate voting against it. Whereas before, under the Constitution, you used to need 2/3 to get an agreement made. So the Republicans only have themselves to blame. It might have been smart politics. I don't know whether they wanted to get everybody on, to sign on the dotted line to support the Iran agreement. But constitutionally, it was really stupid. The better thing to do would have been, if President Obama wants to make this Iran deal, then Congress, if it didn't have the vote to stop it, should have just done nothing. Then President Obama's deal would have had only significance as long as he was president. And then once he was gone, the next president could just terminate the agreement right away. Or Congress could try to override it by refusing to change any sanctions laws.
So before they passed the Corker Amendment, they could legitimately also claim that the president is violating some aspect of the law or abusing his executive authority by not putting a treaty before Congress. But by agreeing to it, and I'll never forget, the president basically threw up his hands and said, okay, I'll sign it, you got me. And you know, anytime the president does that to the Republicans, there's something wrong there, and as it turned out, there was. So by doing that, until that point, until that Corker Amendment was passed and signed into law, the Republicans had a point. This might have been in violation of the law. But now, as you wrote in your piece at National Review, this is not in violation of any law anymore.
Exactly. In fact, the Supreme Court has said that in foreign affairs, when the president and the Congress are acting in agreement, generally the courts will defer and will let the president and Congress do what they want. This is a case called Youngstown Sheehan Tube versus Sawyer. So this means that, exactly as you say, Steve, now the Republicans, by passing the Corker Amendment, actually bolstered Obama's case before. If the Corker Amendment never passed, we just got the deal as it is right now, then you could have made the claim this should have been a treaty or not, and that could have been unconstitutional then. Or you could have just said President Obama's on his own. This is just like his executive abuses in immigration and welfare and health care, and we're going to challenge it, and the next president is going to get rid of it.
So they made the bed, and now they're lying in it, and a lot of people like me don't really understand what they did and why they did it. Just let me ask you in general. There's been a recommendation by at least two government officials that the Justice Department investigate the whole Hillary email. Do you feel that, based on the track record of this Justice Department, and I understand there's a new head of DOJ, that they will conduct a fair and unbiased investigation into Hillary's emails?
Well, first, I think you're completely right that they should do some kind of investigation. You've got classified information being sent around on a server that's not secure, i.e. Hillary's server. It sounds to me like Hillary is playing fast and loose with rules about how you're supposed to control documents and information within the State Department in a way that could have given advantage to our enemies and rivals in the world, which have shown great skill at breaking into classified systems.
Right.
They can break into the OPM database and get every secure file for everyone who's ever worked in national security.
We got 10 seconds. Unfortunately, we got 10 seconds. Do you think they'll do a fair job?
I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're just going to let it go because they don't want to interfere in the election.
John, always good to talk to you, sir. Thank you very much. Up next, folks, Brent Badowski and Kurt Schlichter. Don't go away.